Money Ape sat there staring at his banking app. Payday was 3 hours ago. The money was already gone. Not spent, not saved, just gone. Into the void. He opened his savings account. $43. 43. He'd promised himself this month would be different. It wasn't different. It was exactly the same. And that's when something cracked open inside his brain. Monday morning. Money Ape was sitting at his kitchen table, coffee in one hand, phone in the other. Doing his monthly ritual, he privately called the damage report. He opened his checking account first. Payday had hit on Friday. It was now Monday. Somehow $300 had already evaporated. No big purchases, no emergencies, just gone. He scrolled through the transactions like a detective at a crime scene. Coffee, delivery fee, tip on the delivery, another coffee. A subscription he forgot existed. An impulse buy at 11 p.m. that he truly could not explain. He opened his savings account next. $43. The same $43 from last month. He hadn't touched it. He also hadn't added to it. He'd just left it there like a sad little museum exhibit. Money Ape had a system. Sort of. The system was earn money, pay bills, try to save whatever was left over. The problem? There was never anything left over. Every single month, the money disappeared into the golden banana machine takeout, subscriptions, random purchases that felt necessary at 11 p.m., and the savings account just sat there, dusty and undisturbed. He stared at the $43 for a long time. Then he laughed. Because what else do you do? The embarrassing part wasn't the $43. The embarrassing part was that he had been trying to fix this for 2 years. He'd made budgets. He'd downloaded apps. He'd watched videos. He'd told himself loudly, multiple times, that he was going to start being serious about money. And yet, $43. Something was wrong. Not with his income. Not with his intentions. Something was wrong with the system itself, but he didn't know what yet. He closed the app, grabbed his coffee, and decided today was going to be different. It wasn't going to be different. Not yet, but something was already starting to shift. 2 days later, Money Ape was in line at his favorite taco spot. Yes, again, replaying the $43 moment in his head. He'd been thinking about it obsessively. Why did the money keep disappearing? He wasn't reckless. He wasn't a big spender. He didn't own a boat. He didn't vacation in the Maldives. He bought tacos and coffee and stuff from online stores at unreasonable hours. Normal human things. So what was the actual problem? He ordered his tacos, sat down, and started doing something he hadn't done before. Instead of asking, where did the money go? He started asking, when did the money go? And the answer was uncomfortable. Every single outflow happened before he ever touched the savings account. Rent, car, bills, tacos, coffee, random 11 p.m. Purchases. All of it came out first. Savings was supposed to come from whatever survived that gauntlet. But nothing survived the gauntlet. Nothing ever survived the gauntlet. He'd been treating saving like a reward at the end of the spending obstacle course. And the obstacle course always won. He thought about how this started. Growing up, nobody around him talked about saving first. You earned money. You paid what you had to pay. You lived. If there was anything left, great. If not, try again next month. The mental model was spend, then save. He'd inherited it without ever choosing it. He bit into his taco and realized something that made him set it back down. He'd been running the same broken system for his entire adult life. Every budget, every app, every serious about money speech had all been trying to make the broken system work better. He'd never once questioned the system itself. The system was spend first. And spend first always ate the savings. There had to be a different sequence. There had to be a different order of operations. But what would that actually look like? That night, Money Ape made a decision. He was going to figure out exactly why willpower never worked. He sat on his couch, the same couch where he'd made previous serious money. Decisions that went nowhere and started going down a rabbit hole. He read about something called decision fatigue. The idea was simple and kind of terrifying. Every single choice you make during the day costs mental energy. What to eat, what to wear, what to respond to, what to buy, what to skip. Hundreds of micro decisions, all chipping away at the same limited battery. And here's where Money Ape felt deeply, personally attacked by science. By the time his paycheck hit and he needed to decide how much to save, he had already made approximately 10,000 other decisions that day. His mental battery was nearly dead, and a nearly dead mental battery will always choose the golden banana. Always. Not because you're weak, because you're human. The takeout instead of cooking. The "I'll save more next month," the 11 p.m. purchase he couldn't explain in the morning. These weren't character flaws. They were a depleted brain taking the easy path. Every time Money Ape tried to save money using willpower, he was fighting against one of the most fundamental facts of how brains work. He was trying to plant banana trees using a brain that only wanted golden bananas. And the cruelest part? The more he tried, the more tired his brain got, and the worse his decisions became. He wasn't failing because he was bad with money. He was failing because he was using the wrong tool. You can't win a marathon on an empty tank, no matter how motivated you are at the starting line. He put the phone down and stared at the ceiling. He'd been blaming himself for 2 years. 2 years of guilt and failed budgets and sad savings accounts. And the whole time, the real problem wasn't him. It was the sequence. But something even stranger was making it worse. And he was about to find out what. Money Ape woke up the next morning with his phone already in his hand. He didn't remember picking it up. He just reached for it, automatically, and that word automatically stuck with him. He got up, made coffee automatically, checked social media automatically, made his usual order at the cafe automatically. Most of his day was running on autopilot before he'd even fully woken up. But his savings account? That required a conscious decision every single month. A deliberate, effortful, easily skipped choice that lived completely outside his autopilot system. And then it hit him, hard. Everything in his life that actually happened, consistently brushing his teeth. Making coffee, checking his phone, paying his streaming subscriptions happened automatically. Nobody had to remind him. He didn't have to muster willpower. It just happened. Every habit loop, once built, ran itself. But saving lived in the decision zone. Every month, it had to fight for its life against a tired brain, competing priorities, and the immediate pull of golden bananas. Sometimes it won. Mostly it lost. Here's the part Money Ape found both fascinating and deeply embarrassing. His streaming service had already figured this out. It didn't ask for his permission every month. It didn't remind him. It didn't give him a choice. It just took the money. Every single month. Netflix was better at automating his money than he was. He sat with that for an uncomfortable moment. The reason his savings kept failing wasn't motivation. It wasn't knowledge. It wasn't even willpower exactly. It was that he'd never made saving automatic. He'd kept it as a manual process in a world of automatic expenses. He was playing a rigged game and didn't even know it. But now he was starting to see what the unrigged version might look like. The question was whether he had the nerve to actually do it. Money Ape did something weird that afternoon. He opened a brand new savings account at a completely different bank. Not his main bank. A different one. Specifically chosen because transferring money back out of it was annoying. His old savings account was at the same bank as his checking account. Moving money was 3 taps. That was the problem. The banana was too close. The tree was never going to grow when the golden banana was 3 taps away. He set up the new account. Then he did the thing that made his stomach drop. He set up an automatic transfer. Not a big one. He wasn't trying to be a hero, but a real one. A specific number, set to trigger the morning after every payday, before he'd had a chance to make a single bad decision. His brain immediately started negotiating. What if something comes up? What if you need that money? What if this is a bad month? The internal argument was loud and well-practiced and sounded exactly like every other time. He'd talked himself out of doing something smart. He clicked confirm before the argument could finish. And then he sat very still for a moment, like he'd just done something slightly dangerous. Here's what Money Ape had actually just done. Without fully realizing it yet, he'd removed the decision. Not reduced it. Not made it easier. Removed it. The transfer was going to happen whether he felt like it or not, whether he was tired or not, whether there was a really good sale going on or not. He'd made his future self do the right thing regardless of what his present self wanted. He'd stopped fighting his brain and started engineering around it. The golden bananas were still there. He could still buy tacos. He could still buy things at 11 p.m. But the banana tree would get planted first. Every single time, automatically, without asking his permission. For the first time in 2 years, his savings didn't depend on how he felt, but he was about to discover something even more interesting about what happens when you do this for a few months. 6 weeks later, Money Ape was sitting at his kitchen table doing his monthly damage report. He opened the new savings account first. There was actual money in it, not $43. Real money, enough to make him blink twice. It had grown every single month without him thinking about it, without him fighting with himself, without a single heroic act of willpower. The automatic transfer had fired 3 times. He'd barely noticed. The first time, there was a brief moment of mild panic. The second time, slightly less panic. The third time, he didn't even check his account because he'd forgotten the transfer was happening. It had become background noise, like his streaming subscriptions, like his phone bill, like everything else in his life that ran automatically. And here's where something genuinely strange happened. He stopped thinking of that money as his spending money. It had crossed a line in his brain. It belonged to future Money Ape now, not current Money Ape. He didn't want to touch it, not because he was disciplined, because it didn't feel like his money anymore. It felt like it was already somewhere else. Psychologists call this the set and forget effect. When money moves automatically, your brain quickly recalibrates what available money means. You stop counting the saved money as part of your budget. You adapt your spending to what's left, naturally, without effort. Money Ape hadn't changed his habits. He still bought tacos. He still bought coffee. He once bought something at 11 p.m. that he still can't fully explain. But his savings account was growing. Every month, automatically. He remembered the $43. He remembered the 2 years of failed budgets and downloaded apps and serious speeches. He remembered every month where saving lost the fight, and he realized he hadn't won that fight. He'd just stopped fighting it. He'd built a system that made winning the automatic outcome. 3 months after that Monday morning damage report, Money Ape opened his banking app for the last time in this story. He looked at the savings account. He looked at the $43 it had started with. He thought about all the willpower he'd burned trying to make the broken system work. All the guilt, all the "I'll do better next month" conversations with himself that went absolutely nowhere. And then he thought about the taco he was eating when he started asking the right question. Not, where did the money go, but when did the money go? Not, how do I save more, but how do I make saving not require a decision? The answer had never been more discipline. The answer was less friction. The most successful savers in the world aren't more motivated than everyone else. They're not more disciplined. They just built systems where the right behavior happens automatically and the wrong behavior requires extra effort. They engineered the banana tree into the ground floor of their lives instead of treating it like a special event. The brain will always reach for the golden banana when the decision is live. That's not a flaw. That's just how the machine works. The trick is to make sure the banana tree gets planted before the brain even wakes up. Pay yourself first, automatically, before the spending gauntlet, before the decision fatigue, before the 11 p.m. purchases, before the internal negotiations, before the golden bananas multiply and take over. Money Ape didn't become a different person. He didn't discover secret discipline. He just moved the banana tree to the front of the line. And the $43? That savings account is now the thing he checks first, not out of dread, but because it's the one number that keeps growing without him having to fight for it. If you want to build your first banana tree, start with one automatic transfer. Any amount, just make it automatic. Make it invisible. Make it before anything else touches your paycheck. Your future self will find a very different number waiting for them. Drop a comment below. What's the one money habit you keep trying to build but can't make stick? Let's figure out how to automate it.